Hey everyone, this is Miss Valentine and welcome back to our classroom. Today I'm going to present some of the expectations and rules of being in the classroom. There are some special ones just for the pandemic conditions that we have, so we'll go through those, and I have a Nearpod presentation that you can follow along with on your device while this video is playing. So open Nearpod on your device and enter the code that Miss Valentine gives you. She's going to pause the video. Listen to me talking to myself in third person. I'm going to open the video or pause the video so you can write down the code. All right, now that you are in Nearpod, you will be able to answer the pit stop questions when we get to them. Right now, I want you to focus on copying in the blanks that are on your piece of paper, your notes handout, as we go through the slide presentation. So the classroom materials that you're going to need include your laptop or Chromebook if you don't have one to bring to school. I'm hoping to have some that we can use during the school day, but the administration is still working all of those available Chromebooks out. So a smartphone will work just fine. It's just not going to work as well when you're trying to do independent work. Earbuds or headphones are going to be important for when you are working on things on your own. The 3-ring binder or folder for this class only is important because I want you to keep all of your materials for just this class in one place. Even if it's not super organized in your folder, at least it's all for just this class. Bring your own pencil or blue or black pen. I have some little tiny itty bitty golf pencils that you can borrow, but I don't want those back. It's much better to bring your own writing utensil. Bring notebook paper. The Plicker card, I'm going to pass those out while the video is playing here. Everyone has a Plicker card for the beginning of class, and we will actually practice with those in a few minutes here, but you'll need to bring that every single day. And then also bring the daily log paper. The one that you picked up by the door today will be turned in on Friday, but normally you'll pick those up on Mondays. So bring that every single day because you're going to fill it out every single day. So how is all of this going to work being back in school? We are flipping this class. What that means is that the assignments that are done in school can also be done from home. The reason I'm doing this is to make sure that no one is coming to school because they're worried about missing something in my class. So you will not miss anything in this class that you can't make up at home. So that's why we're going to just basically do the same thing at school as you would be at home. So both cohorts A and cohort B will be on the same schedule. So you'll be working on the same assignments except for daily logs. Daily logs will only be done when you are in school. Let's talk a little bit about how we are going to keep our workspaces safe. You can pick up a sanitizing wipe on the way into class. You should have seen this when you walked into class today. The wipes are up in the front, right underneath the chalkboard. And you are going to wipe down your desk, the back of your chair where people grab a hold of it. And then if you are using one of the divider windows, you might want to wipe that one down as well. You'll keep your wipe until the traffic in the room is low and you can safely throw it in the trash without running into somebody. And there is a garbage can right up near the front, so if you want to just set it on the desk next to you until the end of class and throw it away at the end of class, you can do that as well. Just do it on the way out. Please adjust your desk at the end of class as well so that the front legs line up with the yellow tape that is on the floor. If you take a look at the front of your desk right now, you'll see where the yellow tape is, and hopefully your desk is lined up with that. This is very important this year because we do need to maintain 6 feet of distance between people. So please sit in the assigned seat that I have placed the chair at, and straighten out the desks at the end of class as well. Thank you. To use a class set book, if we're doing outlines, you guys can borrow one from the bookshelf up front, but I have them set in 2 different stacks. This is because COVID has been shown to last for 2 to 4 hours on paper. So if someone who has COVID on their hands is using a textbook, you don't want to use it that same day. So if you want to use a class set textbook, if you don't want to use the PDF online, you can pick up one of the books from the new pile and return it to the used pile over on the right on the bookshelf. And I'm just going to switch these signs every day so that the used pile will become the new pile, and the new pile will become the used pile, so it'll just flip-flop back and forth. The stack, again, is in the front of the room on the bookshelf that you should be looking at right now. Okay, so your daily log, like I said before, is new every Monday, and this is when you are in school only. When you are at home doing distance learning, you do not need to do a daily log. You're going to fill it out at the beginning of class each day, and then turn it in every Friday, once again, only when you are in school. Let me go back there. I'm sure you guys are copying that down. So pick it up on Monday, fill it out at the beginning of class every day, and turn it in every Friday. The daily log has 4 parts. The objective is what we're learning that day. The bell work is a question that you will answer before class starts, like you did today. And we are going to use the plickers to help us with that whole bell work process, and we'll demonstrate that in just a moment. The assignments are what we are working on today, and then I also sometimes have some reminders for what's coming due in the near future. The daily summary on the back of the daily log paper is just space for video notes or other things for you to write when I ask you to fill it in. So I'm having you write down that part when Miss V asks you to fill it in, because a lot of people will write a daily summary every single day, but you don't need to do that. Leave that space blank unless I tell you to write something on the back. And here is what the daily log will look like tomorrow when you walk into the class. Of course, it'll have different words on it, but this is the format that I usually use for the daily log. You'll notice today I have added the A, B, and C option from our original slide that you walked into today. So let's pause the video here, and we are going to practice using our Plicker cards to answer the question of the day. Are you excited to be back? There are a few particular things I want to see on the daily log, and you can lose points if you don't have them. You'll lose points if you don't have any dates written down. That's because I can't tell the difference between one daily log from another without the dates there. So if you have just one date written down, you're fine. But if you're missing all the dates, you'll lose 2 points total on the daily log. Also, make sure that you are writing out the entire question and the entire answer for the bell work. I even have the warning right here, write out the full question and full answer. A lot of people will just put the letter A, B, C, or D down for their answer and not write out the entire answer. So that's where a lot of people lose their points. Make sure you're writing out the whole question and the whole answer. Otherwise, it's a deduction of 1 point every day. Let's go to our first Nearpod question here. You can answer this on your device. When do you fill in your daily log? Let's talk a little bit now about what to do when you are absent during a week that you were supposed to be in class. So if you're homesick during your cohort's week. The first thing you're going to do, as you will see on the poster over on the wall, copy the daily log from the daily log file at the top of Schoology. I normally have a binder where old daily logs are written down, but for this year, we are just going to have the daily logs at the top of Schoology. You can see there's our buttons that are on the Schoology page and the files, or the weekly folders as well. So it'll always be at the top. You'll copy that so you know exactly what we missed for that day. Then you can pick up assignments on the days of the week shelves in front of the room, or you could also print them from Schoology. So either way, you'll get the papers that you missed that you need for that day, and then write absent and the date of the assignment at the top. So for example, you could write absent 9:30 for today, and that would just tell me that you were absent that day and allow me to check the attendance to make sure that you were indeed absent for that assignment. Then you'll turn in the work within 3 days of coming back. That's my standard policy, but since we are only here every other week, it's going to be day 3 of the school days that you would be here. My main point is that I don't want to be getting something late or something that's absent work from 3 or 4 weeks ago. So try and turn it in as soon as you can. That way you're not getting too far behind after being out with an absence. It is your responsibility to get any of the assignments that you missed due to an absence, and do not write absent on your daily log, people lose points for that all the time. You still have to copy the daily log and you still have to do all of the assignments that you missed. Late work is not accepted, as you already know, unless you turn it in with a late pass, and you guys are going to get 2 more paper late passes in addition to the 3 digital passes that you got at the beginning of the school year. The only exception is daily logs. I want you to turn in daily logs no matter what. You don't need a late pass. A lot of times people will forget to turn them in on Friday, or if they're absent on Friday, they will forget to turn it in the next time they're there. So turn in daily logs from previous weeks if you ever have them, and you don't need a late pass for those. Valentine passes, I will go ahead and pass those out in class. Make sure you write your name, preferably in pen or marker, at the top of each of your Valentine passes. They can be used for restroom or water breaks, and then for late assignments that are on paper. So if you have a paper assignment that you want to turn in and it's late, just staple the Valentine pass to the back of that late work. If you keep your Valentine passes, you can use them for extra credit either at the end of the quarter or at the end of the year. You can hold on to those Valentine passes all year long. You will have the opportunity to earn more passes by signing up for classroom jobs, and I'm hoping to have the classroom job survey ready in next week's folder. You can borrow a Valentine pass from a classmate for a restroom or water break, but not for late homework and not for extra credit. To turn in your assignments, you either are going to submit it electronically on Schoology as you have been, or you will turn them into the basket labeled with your class period. And you can see over to the right side of the room, there are 2 baskets sitting on top of the days of the week shelves, one for period 3 and one for period 6-7. Just make sure you put it in the correct basket. And this would be for late work or on-time work. You'll just put it in the basket. It's conveniently by the door, so you can just put it in on your way out of the class. If you would like to look at your graded papers, there are crates underneath the desk there up front, and you are going to have your own folder. I don't have them created just yet, but you will have your own folder with your name on it, and you can take those papers out at any time. The papers are filed after they are entered in Schoology, or I'm sorry, after they are entered in PowerSchool, so I won't need them back after you pick them up out of the crate. And here we are at our next pit stop. So go to Nearpod and you will respond to this question, or these questions. What can a Valentine pass be used for? And then you guys will do, where can you pick up your graded papers? So that's it for that series of pit stop questions, 4 in a row. We have a couple more left before the end of the presentation. Any questions at this point before we go on to classroom rules? All right, so class rules. I am going to enforce all of Westerville South's rules, but here are my top 10, and some of these are very specific to this year, including the first rule. You do need to have your mask on at all times when we are indoors. It needs to be over your nose and your mouth. So a lot of people like to sag and have their nose just barely peeking out. There is air exiting out of your nose. I don't know if people really think that they are protected and safe in that way, but this is not okay. You need to have it over top of your nose. And honestly, we'll all get used to this whole mask thing. So even if you're resisting by having it right under here, just put it over your nose so you can protect those around you and their grandparents at home. Be on time. I know that the one-way hallways are going to present an issue, but after the first few days, I am going to enforce the tardiness rule at school, and there are 2 warnings, and then the third late is a detention. So I most likely will start this the following week, the next time that you are in class. Being on time means that you are in your seat or on your way there right after the bell rings. If you are up walking around talking to people, which you shouldn't be anyway, you will be marked tardy, even if you are in the classroom. So just make sure once you hear that bell that you are heading towards your seat to start class. Cell phone use is going to be unique this year, especially since we have a lot of independent work time. You may use your cell phone in class during independent work time. So, anytime that I am talking or you should be paying attention elsewhere, I don't want to see your cell phone out. However, a lot of time in class this year is going to be independent work time. If you're texting or gaming or using social media apps in excess, you'll earn a loss of weekly participation points. In fact, I take away 2 points for every time I see you out using your cell phone in a way that you aren't supposed to be doing in class. Um, you could earn a detention if it is an ongoing problem. I don't collect cell phones this year just out of the health concerns, but normally I would take a cell phone if someone's really having trouble focusing during class. But my goal is that you will be able to help yourself focus and use it in the way that you need to use it, either for music or if you're using it in order to access the class material, that is fine, of course. No eating or drinking in class, just bottled water. And this is a rule for all classes except for first period, because first period, I know that some people may be getting their lunch or their breakfast from the cafeteria it's just early. So if you want to have coffee or have breakfast in the classroom, you can do that. I just ask that maybe you have the divider up on your desk so that you are not going without a mask with others around. No gum, and I wouldn't put your hands on the bottom of the desk either. There are some gum remnants on the bottom of some of our desks. So here is our next pit stop. We will pause the video here and go to Nearpod. What is the only food or drink that you can have in class? All right, another class rule is to stay in your assigned seat at all times. If you finished your work for the day, you should work on a word search or work on something for another class in your own seat. I have some coloring papers in the front of the room if you'd like to have one of those, but you'll need to use your own colored pencils since we aren't sharing those types of supplies this year. Watch your language. I know that things slip sometimes, but pretend that I'm your grandmother, unless your grandmother curses like a sailor. But please just watch your language around me. It gets a little bit annoying when I hear a lot of trash talk going on around me. No sleeping, and I especially wouldn't want you sleeping on the desks here this year, just with our concern over the cleanliness of surfaces. Remember to respect yourselves and others. I believe this is a similar rule to what I have on our digital class rules. You don't have to agree with people, but you do have to respect them. And in most cases, if you show respect, you'll receive it in return as well. And then believe in yourself. Some of us are a little bit behind on our digital work, but please know I'm willing to work with you. And if you put your mind to it, you can succeed in this class. You can get caught up. We will get into this new transition back to the classroom, and hopefully, even with our distance weeks, we'll learn to stay caught up with our work. So I have high expectations for you, and you should have high expectations for yourself as well. Failure to follow the school or class rules could result in a number of different things. Every week, you guys are going to have weekly participation points, up to 10 points total, and I'll explain that a little bit more in a moment. If you are having a behavior problem in class, a phone problem, I might ask you to stay after class to have a student-teacher conference with me. If it's really bad, I call home. I may have you stay after class to help straighten up the classroom. That's usually if you leave trash behind. I ask you to do that the next day. I may also issue a detention. Losing your cell phone, I guess I won't really take it this year. So cross that one off. Referral to the administrator is the most extreme case, and I haven't had to do that in years. I hope that this year is another one where I do not have to refer you to the administrator. So here's our next pit stop. We will pause the video here and go to Nearpod. What are some of the possible consequences of breaking school or class rules? Weekly participation points are an opportunity for you to earn just some extra cushion, extra points, just for being a good person, just for being a good student in class. As long as you are on time, on task, and you're respectful to others, you'll just earn, boom, 10 points Easy peasy. So the points could be lost though if you are late to class, if you have off-task behavior, if you're not doing your work or if you're distracting others. Um, if you have irresponsible cell phone use, like I mentioned before, that's a 2-point deduction. If your music is too loud, I oftentimes will ask you to turn it down, but you're also going to lose a participation point for that as well. So just keep your music at a volume that's not going to disturb other people. A disruption or talking over others or improper mask wearing will also lose, or you'll earn deductions as well. And then if you leave trash or other items at your desk, like let's say you borrowed a class Chromebook, if you leave that stuff out and I have to clean up after you, you will lose points. And then also I will probably ask you to stay after class the next day to clean stuff up. After the first time of giving you a warning about something, I don't always give you a warning when you lose points. I get really tired of asking people to put their phone away or whatever it is that I'm warning them about. So if you ever, or if you see me writing on my seating chart, usually it's a deduction for some points. So, and especially if I'm looking at you, that's probably a good sign that you're losing some points at that time. If you ever want to know why you lost points, just ask, because I do record that on the seating chart and I'd be happy to share that information with you. So I am here for you guys. I'm more than willing to help you. This is a very strange year, and I really do want you to be successful. So talk to me in class. You can email me or visit my room after school as well. I'll make myself available to you when you need it. If you have not signed up for Remind Text, I do recommend it. I think about half the class has signed up for it. So feel free to take your cell phone out now, and I will pause the video so that you can sign up for text reminders. Just keep in mind that you are responsible for all of your assignments, even when I don't send a text reminder. This year, I haven't been sending a lot of text reminders. It's for just certain things here or there. And since we are probably going to be going outside for some activities, that is going to be an important tool to have. I might be able to remind you that, hey, we got to go back into the school so you don't miss your next class. So signing up for the Remind will help you with that. But for the most part, you guys are tracking your assignments through Schoology in the right column where the due dates are. Any questions before we wrap up here? Your Back to the Classroom quiz is due on Sunday. And for these notes, I'm not going to have you turn them in. I just want you to use these notes to help you on that Back to the Classroom quiz. You can write that down at the bottom of your handout, on your notes handout, just to remind you to have that done by Sunday. Again, welcome back to class. I'm happy to have you guys here and to finally meet many of you. I will turn things over now to Classroom Miss Valentine, and I hope I'm pointing the right direction to where she's standing. She might need to move, and I'll stop talking about myself in the third person now.